Hey, what's up, guys? It's Noah here, and well, welcome back to a channel update video that I hoped I would never have to make. And I honestly, up until about a week ago, or even for the past few months, or really even just a week ago, I didn't think I would ever have to make. And I've done a lot of channel updates on my channel, and this one is definitely the most important one, and the most saddening one, and the most exciting one. So if you're interested in my channel and what I've been up to and what will be up to in my server and what will be my server, please watch this video all the way through. Firstly, what I want to mention, guys, is I'm no longer the owner of Squadcraft, and I'm going to talk for a second about the history of server owners, or what I've been personally with my server owner and stuff like that, my history with that. But I'm no longer the owner of that, and I'm no longer affiliated with it in any way. So if you're there because of me, because of my faction series, because of anything like that, that's no longer there. And you may want to listen about what I'm going to be affiliated with. Anyway, let me talk about the history of what, and if you could tell that I'm sad, it's because I am, but the history of what I have done with that server. So it started off as NOAHSWAG.net about maybe a year and a half ago to maybe 2 years ago, ran by a friend named Ian. And me and Ian ran that server, started from scratch before even, I think, having donator packages on there. It was just something I did to interact with my subscribers and play with them. And that's something I'm happy about because, some people now started just because they know there's donations on there. And that's not what I started with, and that makes me happy. And I still do love playing on my server. I believe that I am one of the most active YouTubers with their server. There's people who have a subscriber server who don't play on it at all. And then, I play in mine every day. I do a daily series on there, and I find that I just like, I like playing with the people that watch me. And anyway, I'm getting off topic here. I'm sorry. This isn't the normal type of video I make. But so I had that server for about a year. I had that server about 6 months with me and Ian, and then Serge came along. Serge messaged me on YouTube saying he could help out, and he helped out. He became an admin, co-admin with Ian. Things led out with Serge and Ian where they argued too much, and it turned out that Serge was an actual better, better admin and could do more work and could get stuff done and make the server generally better. So me, Ian, and Serge decided that Ian, even though he was my friend, but the server was becoming so big that Ian could no longer handle what was happening. So Ian had to go, and Serge was now the admin. And, that wasn't a bad thing. I still talk to Ian, and Ian will probably be an admin on my new server. Not the admin job he was doing before, but maybe just an admin to talk to you guys and help you out with the problems you have publicly, not behind the scenes admin, because that's a lot harder of a job, and that's what Serge was better at. Anyway, so Serge, and then it was just Serge and me. Serge and me worked on Squadcraft for about a year together, and it was going good. But about the last few months, me and Serge have been arguing to the point where it's literally almost depressing to me, and it's really affecting me and my moods with how much me and Serge argue. And like, Serge has put so much work into the server this last year. He has spent countless hours making the server the best he can, whereas I don't have time to do that because I run a YouTube channel, because I'm still in school. I couldn't run my own server, whereas Serge is the developer. He runs the server. Even though I'm the owner, Serge is the developer, and he's been doing that. But for the last few months, me and Serge have just been getting in so many arguments. Before we would record, and Justin would back me up on this, before we would record a faction episode, 6 times out of 7 in the week, me and Serge would get an argument that would last over an hour. And, we and Serge were still friends. Friends fight, but that was unhealthy. It was an unhealthy amount. And it was always about the server. What I think is best for the server and what he thinks is best for the server are completely different things. And it wasn't going to work. One of us had to leave, and it's it's not good that one of us had to leave. But I want to still be friends with Serge. I am still friends with Serge. If we're gonna say, like, this has already been going on for the last few days, and me and Serge still talk. We're still friends. I wish him the best of luck with his server. It's just that I decided to leave, and the reason people, even my friends, were like, "Why the heck did you give him the server you've owned for the last 2 years?" It's because I know what he's sacrificed for that server in the last 2 years. I know all the work he's done for that server for the last 2 years, and I would feel, it's not right for me to kick him out just because me and him can't get along anymore. And I didn't feel that would be fair to him, and I didn't feel like that would just be a nice thing to do at all. So I figured that the better thing to do would be for me to leave, because again, I don't want to. If it kept going the way it was, the server Squadcraft would just freaking blow up. Me and Serge would get in some argument that went too far, and then I'd be hating on him on Twitter, and he'd be hating on me on the server. He'd ban me on there. It would have been a way uglier situation, and so I decided to, and this is my mod reviewing arena, which I don't use anymore. I kind of got grief, but anyway, I decided to back out of Squadcraft, and if I'm gonna briefly say this, and it's something that I didn't want, I didn't want to say, but the last few months, the server hasn't been going the way I've wanted it to go. It's been getting bigger, which is great, but there's certain decisions that I've had with it that I feel like should have been different and could make the server much better. I'm willing, like, if you didn't know, certain plugins, quality plugins that look really nice, play really nice, cost a lot of money, and I'm 100% willing to get those plugins and make the server the literal best server I can, even if it means less players on there, because it would bigger plugins generate more lag at a certain amount of players, so you can't have like a 400 player faction server like we had, where maybe you needed 200 or 250 or maybe even 300. And I'm willing to do that, whereas Serge's route he wanted to do, I'm not saying he wouldn't want to have good plugins. Like, he wanted good plugins too, but he chose the route of saying 400 players would be better. And personally for me, I figured I'd like it the other way. Anyway, this is kind of getting off topic. Just that's one of the things we didn't agree on. The new server that I'm going to be launching, guys, is hybridcraft.net. Please add that to your server list right now, because it's going to be up in beta, and I'll explain what it's going to have on it in a few days. It's already in development, and that will be up within a few days. It'll be up fully within a week, because I'm getting a really good team over here, and they're going to have it up within a week. And something that I'm really excited about is because now, with how it's run, it's really me being behind the sort of creative aspect of it, like, being able to fully plan out everything how I want it, and I have the perfect team to just put that to life. Whereas before, it was mine and Serge's own ideas, kind of 50-50ing what we thought was right for the server. And obviously, with any business, it's not my fault, it's not Serge's fault. With any business, people are going to disagree on things, and that's why normally businesses have a whole room of tables so you can take a vote. It's not good to have two people, or because you'll get disagreements a lot, and that's what happened. So anyway, this team, it's gonna be me basically being able to make the perfect server for what I love in Minecraft, and I'm excited for that. So what's gonna have on it for beta? I believe it's just gonna have, I want it to have factions, because I want to get that up, because sadly, or I'll talk about that in a second, but I want to get that up so I can start my faction series up again as soon as possible, and that should be within 1 day to 3 days. You'll see that soon. So until then, there's not going to be any faction episodes, obviously. So that's going to be there, which will be cool. And then the following week, 4 days later or whatever, we'll then have Skywars Evolved, which Squadcraft will no longer have Skywars Evolved, because Surge thought it was, and I thought it was fair for me to keep that, because that's something I came up with 100%. And so Surge, that was nice of Surge and me, or not me, but it's nice of Surge to let me keep that. So Skywars Evolved will be moving over 100% to my server. Sky Wars will be moving over. I'm also redoing Sky Wars, is something that I wanted to do a while ago too, but Surge didn't agree with, or have time to do. I wanted to kind of add different abilities into it, sort of how other servers have it too, but also put that on Skywars Evolved. So I wanted to kind of, because I felt like our Skywars plugin was Skywars 1.0, and there's already Skywars 2.0 plugins out there. And I wanted to kind of give it an upgrade and make it my own little twist on the upgrade too, and do certain abilities I think would be cool and brainstorm with that. And also I want to have a website, which is something that we didn't get done before, but I've been wanting it for like 6 months, where a forums where you guys can post saying, hey, for Skywars, this would be a cool ability to add. I think it would be really cool. It would be balanced and whatever, and then people could go vote it up to the top, and I could see it, sort of like how Reddit works. And I'd be watching that every day for new ideas for mini games, for suggestions, for mod applications, stuff like that. Something that I think is really important, and I want a website, and that's something that we're gonna get, which is very cool. So that's really that. So anyway, we have Skywars Evolved. We're gonna have factions. We're gonna have factions with MCMO. It's not just gonna be called MCMO anymore. It's factions and factions. Some advice if you wanted to know, because I know my friend Braden, and because I already know if I name it what I want to name it, people will be like, oh, you're copying Braden. But there's factions. I'm gonna name it. I don't know what colors he chose, but I'm gonna name it 2 different colors. Maybe red, probably like red and blue. Because if you name it Factions 1 and Factions 2, by default, even if they're like the same thing, just to split up player count to reduce lag, by default people are just going to assume Factions 2 is the lesser one. So there'll probably be 2 colors, but I just felt like I needed to say that because I don't want people thinking I'm copying for when I'm the one that actually gave that advice to Braden. And I knew that he wouldn't have any problem telling you guys that, but I just didn't feel the need to, ask him to tweet that out or something like that, because I just know there'd be a lot of people commenting stuff like that. But anyway, so Factions, Skywars Evolved. That's going to be the base thing there. Next, something that I've been wanting to get for the last month or two is Prison. Prison is something that I used to play with my friends, Chris Craft, him, and Gabe Craft. Gabe Craft hasn't even made videos yet, but the 2 friends of mine, I used to play that with them before I even had a YouTube channel on Prison server, and I always thought those were one of the funnest ones. So it's something I've always wanted, but it's a lot harder to develop. So it's something we just never got around to doing on Squadcraft. But my new team is able to do something like that. That won't be at launch, however, I don't believe, but that'll be within the next month. And that's the next thing I want to add. And I'm going to make it something where you guys on the forums and maybe even comments to this video, I want you guys to tell me what you think would be cool and what we could add to that prison. I'm going to do a series on there too. Probably won't be daily, because with the environment for prison, if you don't know, is basically where you're mining stuff and moving up the ranks. If I do it daily, I would probably finish it in like 10-15 days. So I'd probably do it maybe semi-daily or like once every 3 days or something like that. Or if the support's crazy, I could just do it daily and do seasons or figure something to do out anyway. So Prison, that's the next thing I want to add. Next, I want to do Hunger Games, because Hunger Games is a huge thing, a huge part of my channel, or was a huge part of my channel, and something I still find enjoyable, and I find it one of the best PvP things besides Skywars. I think Skywars is the most fun. I want to add Hunger Games, and something that bothered me with Squadcraft's Hunger Games is how the maps, and I bet you guys who play on there can notice it, is how the maps sort of morphed together, where like, when it regenerates a bunch of times, stuff gets screwed up, like ice becomes water, stuff like that. So it just looked messy and bad, and that's not something I wanted to have. But the way that it was run and the way Surge wanted to do it is have every single one of those on there instead of an individual server, similar to how Hive and Nexus has it, where you wouldn't have that problem. I'm gonna be going the Hive and Nexus route with putting in individual servers instead of one giant server. You guys wouldn't even be able to really tell the difference, just so that you don't run into that problem, maps stay pretty and something like that. And that's going to be the next thing. I want to make that Hunger Games the best plugin and best Hunger Games possible. Something I want to emphasize with this, guys, is I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to make, and I'm just shaking my hands like you guys can see me or something, I'm going to make every single thing I put on there the best it can be, okay? And that's something that I want you guys to know. And I'm gonna value all your opinions and everything with what you think I should add, what you think, or whatever. So that'll be the next thing to come. Next, I want walls. It's walls. If you could tell on my old server, Squadcraft, feels weird saying that. Walls was a thing there. Walls is something I've had maps developed about 3 months ago and wanted added 3 months ago. But again, it's just something that never got around to getting added. So, you know, it's obvious that I've wanted it for a long time, and it's something that's going to get added to my new server, which excites me, because Walls is another one of those games that's really, really fun. It makes great videos, and that's a bonus because, you know, great fun, great videos, perfect for a subscriber server for a YouTuber, am I right? So that's Walls, and that's about as far as I've thought into it. That's the core server right there that I want. I want Walls, I want Hunger Games, I want Skywars, and Skywars Evolved as my PvP minigames. And then I want Factions, I want, you know, Factions 2 or, you know, Red and Blue or whatever. And then Prison, and then if Prison gets big enough, maybe Prison 2 as my survival things. And I think that's going to be great. And please, guys, I don't want you guys to bash on Surge or anything like that because, you know, we are still friends. It's just I hope I illustrated the differences we thought and to the best of my ability, and it's not something I want to be sending hate to him or anything like that. It's just I want to be open with you guys and what the thought process has been for the last 3 months. And now moving on to the faction Let's Play. I really don't know. I'm going to keep doing it. Justin I already know is on board, so me and Justin are on board. I honestly doubt Surge will be on board because, you know, how I ended up leaving Squadcraft because of what I've already explained. I honestly don't know if Surge is going to be on board. And if he's not, there's already a few people I'm thinking of adding. Me and Justin are going to decide, but let me know who you think I should add. And guys, I'll just be honest right now. Please be reasonable with who you're saying add. Like, don't say that guy does Minecraft. Even though I'm friends with Adam, he's not going to come do a faction series on my server, you know. People that would do it, for example, Taz would do it. If you don't know Taz, he's a good friend of mine. Palmer would do it. Dr. PlayStation would do it. There's a bunch of people that do it. Just mainly the smaller people, because there's the ones that I talk to mostly. Not even, like, don't even mention Metrodrome because they, you know, they have their own server. They won't do it. And yeah, so I'm gonna be brainstorming with who I think would make a good fit, because I think the faction series is the most fun series I've ever done, and I'm going to for sure continue it and make it better. You know, make it better. That's what I do. When you get knocked down like this, you get up again, and I hope my crafters will be there for me, and I hope you guys will make the switch from, you know, my old server to my new one. Even if you have, oh, something I should mention, if you made it this far in the video, even if you have donator packages on that old server, you'll get them on the new server. The thing is, though, the donation system is going to be different. It's not going to be the same donation classes and not the same specific stuff that you get. But let's say you're a Bedrock person on my old server, you'll get something within that ballpark of cost on the new one. And same goes for every other rank. And you'll be getting everything like that. And something that's happened with the last little bit with Squadcraft is ranks haven't been going through, which is really weird. And that's not going to happen on the new server either. So look forward for that. And yeah, so I think this video has rambled on long enough, guys. I hope you guys, not enjoyed. It's not really enjoyable video. I'll leave the IP for the new one down in the description. Add it to your server list, guys. It's going to be coming out soon. It's going to be great. It's going to be gravy, baby goodness. And yeah, well, again, not the video I thought I'd ever make, but I hope you guys all are understandable about this. And it's the only video I've ever made where I'm really serious and 100% open with you guys, and it's not, you know, it's a serious video. And anyway, what I'm going to be doing, though, which you should look forward to, is live streaming on it as a launch thing a lot, for especially during Christmas vacation, which is coming up for me soon. I'll have all the time in the world, and that'll be awesome. Anyway, guys, though, again, hybridcraft.net is the IP. Save that there, link in the description, and farewell, Squadcraft. It was nice owning you for the last 2 years, but now Hybridcraft is my new home, my new baby, and I'll make sure to keep it forever. Bye, guys.